It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, Steph. Good
Hey.
morning, afternoon. It's noon Wednesday. Every Wednesday we do our live TV show, rAVe TV. Come to you live on Facebook, Twitter, as long as Twitter's still around, LinkedIn, rAVe Pubs, and youtube.com/rAVe Pubs. 5 different places simultaneously, and both of us are getting on an airplane.
Yes.
And we're jetting out to an exciting event. DSE is finally back. But before that, I want to ask you, what did you do this weekend, Steph?
I had a very busy weekend, Gary. I had, Abby, who works here, her engagement party was on Saturday. I remember that you announced to an entire Almo event that she was engaged. So I just wanted to follow that up by announcing to everyone watching rAVe TV that she's engaged. And I went to her engagement party Saturday night. And then yesterday I had a Friendsgiving. And when you're young. I saw you
stuffing a turkey. I saw an Instagram of you stuffing a turkey.
Yeah, that was traumatizing for all involved, and the turkey included. But yeah, no, it was good. When you're young, you're like in your early 20s and you have a Friendsgiving and like half the people don't bring anything and like somebody brings chips and like you just kind of end up with a hodge. This was not like that. Like, now we're like in our late 20s. So everyone's like, oh, I want to cook. So yeah, I made a turkey. Which, it was a little overdone, but I think this was since my first time.
Overdone turkey. I like dry turkey. So anytime you want to overcook a turkey, you invite me.
Great. This, it was my first time making it. So it wasn't the worst one I've had. So I think that that's a success. We had so much food that like by the time, like everyone made like overcooked. So by the time dinner was over, like I felt like I could not move. Well, but I made it here.
I don't want to give away our Thanksgiving week rAVe TV show, but it is going to be worth watching Wednesday before Thanksgiving, because Steph and I are doing something super special for Thanksgiving, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, something that nobody in the industry will guess what it is. So go ahead and try to guess, but you will not guess what it is. And it is really cool, really heartwarming, and really fun. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to do it live. So
we are.
It's not going to be scripted. We're going to do something live, and Steph, I'm excited about it.
I am too. It's going
to be great.
It's going to be really great. What did you do last weekend? Anything fun?
I wasn't feeling that great, so I didn't do a whole lot. I just kind of I'm afraid always before shows to do anything when I don't feel perfect.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Sick. Oh, I did run a 5K on campus. And that was
not you cool. Being like, I'm so sick, and then you ran a 5K. Like,
well, I mean, for me, 5K is not that bad, but I ran with Chancellor Guskowitz, which was kind of fun. That was
okay. Cool. That's fun.
Yeah, and so I didn't really kind of run to get my best time, but it was fun, and I was kind of supporting a bunch of students. But
cool.
Outside of that, I just kind of hung out and did nothing.
I will tell you that I get a cold every year around this time when the temperature starts flip-flopping. It's okay.
Stay away from me. I when I know I have to go on show site and do all these interviews, I take I'll be wearing a mask on the airplane today, Steph. I will be up.
I will too, honestly.
I don't want anybody touching me. I hate shaking hands at trade shows. I love the fist bump thing and the elbow bump thing. Bring it back. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a germaphobe. You know this. I carry hand sanitizer with me all the time.
But I tend to get a cold every time I get on a plane for like like the Vegas flight. Usually I'll get a cold. So it's just
like a 4.5 hour flight.
Yes. Of you just breathing recycled air the whole time. So chances are
this time of year, there's always somebody behind you coughing and hacking.
Yes.
And then they go to the bathroom right before you go there, and you're like walking into this cesspool storage unit.
Wow.
But anyway, let's talk about what we're here for. We are both flying to Las Vegas. We are excited that the DSE show, now called the Digital Signage Experience Show, is back. And it's it's not just COVID that DSE's had to overcome. It's had to overcome basically the show wasn't really heading the right direction for a couple of years prior to COVID. And then COVID, of course, basically did every show in. And Questec, a company who manages shows, came in and saved the show, and they're re-engineering this show, and it's going to take a few years. But this is going to be a totally different show. And this is going to be
really
more
excited.
experience based. And it starts, it's the 17th, 18th, 19th. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And we actually have a code that if you have not registered yet, you still, if you're in the Vegas area, but of course, if you're in Los Angeles, anywhere in California, Arizona, you might want to consider hanging out there for a day. And by the way, hotel rooms are cheap right now because it's not Thanksgiving in Vegas. So use our code RAVEGIFT and you get in for free. And, Steph, you wrote a great article why you should join us.
I did join. I am going to join us at DSC, and I did write that article. Yes, I mean, there are just a few reasons that I think you should. I mean, the latest and greatest digital signage technology is going to be there and ready and available for you to get your hands on it. There's going to be an amazing Women of Digital Signage luncheon. The presenter and speaker lineup is absolutely phenomenal. So, like, there are all these really great industry people talking.
And parties. The first show with parties.
Yes.
Like, they have not been shows with parties. There's the first show with parties is back. There's a party every single night, including Wednesday night before the show, which I know that you're going to go to. I'm not going to go to that party because, again, I want to stay away from anyone who might be sick.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I know you're going, though.
Yes, I will. And that'll be fine.
And by the way, after DSC, sorry, Steph, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, after DSC, the next big show is ISC, and we actually have a code for that as well. It's worth mentioning that slightly different code. Instead of RAVE GIFT, you use RAVE Europe.
RAVE Europe.
RAVE EUROPE. That'll get you in ISC. If you're going to Barcelona, if you're on the fence about going to that show, it is the best mega show on earth. I mean, it is residential and commercial product together, and it's January 31st through February 3rd in Barcelona. I bet a lot of people from DSC will be going there too, because there's a lot of digital signage there.
Oh, chances are great. And the digital signage hall was big last year, or this year, so I can only imagine how big it's going to be in January. So
speaking of DSC, after this break, we're going to take a break just a second. After this break, I'm going to be talking to Brad Gleason, the executive producer of DSC. In fact, Brad has been in the industry a long time. He's not just all about DSC. He has pioneered a lot of stuff in our industry. We're going to talk to Brad when we come out of this message from our sponsor, Sure, the reason why we sound good.
We've seen nothing less than volatility in the stock market over the past 12 months. We should certainly be bracing ourselves for more of the same. Based on what we've learned from history, it would be a good idea for our investors to look to hold tight.
So, I have 2 apples in my basket, and I say to Mr. Jumble, can I have one of yours? How many apples do you think I...
Excuse me? Can I have your attention, please?
So, how many apples do you think I'll have if I take one from...
Hi, Grandma. Hi, Granddad.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Don't forget to plug in your mic.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, loads better.
Who are you waving at?
Oh, it's just our neighbour.
Sorry I'm late. As I was saying, the compelling opportunities in the stock market have the potential for a solid year of returns, which would be consistent with the second year of a bull market.
All right, Steph, I'm excited. I'm going to be talking now to Brad Gleason, who's the executive producer of DSC.
Awesome. Yeah, let's bring him out.
All right, let's do it. All right, so Brad, first off, thanks for joining us. I know you have a heck of a journey to get to DSC. I want to first introduce you to those people who don't know Brad. He's one of the founders of Target Path, which has done a lot of work for companies, all the way back to Planar and other companies like that in the industry. A lot of companies that are in the digital signage market. So you're an expert at digital signage for sure.
Well, thank you, Gary. Thanks a lot, Steph, as well, for having me join you today. Super excited about the Digital Signage Experience show. Just really excited about the show coming back again. It's near and dear to my heart. I've been involved in the DSE show since the very, very beginning with a previous company, my company, Active Light. And so it's been a joy to watch the digital signage business expand and grow over that period of time. Little hiccup, little speed bump there with COVID, but with QuestX at the wheel now, we're really excited about the new show.
Well, what are you most excited about with regard to the new DSE show? Like what is, if you could point to one thing, I mean, obviously everyone's excited about being back, so you can't choose that one. What's the one thing that you're excited about that is not just being back?
Yeah. Well, I think, the thing that trade shows do for us is it really connects us to the people in real time that we do business with all the time. And so to me, it's about the relationships and the people that we're going to see there that we haven't seen probably for a few years now. And what that means to us in terms of, getting back to business and getting back to the health of what the digital signage industry always was. The show itself is going to be super exciting. We have great speakers, we have great keynotes. The exhibitors that you expect to see there are going to be there as well, and they're going to be showing off their stuff. I guess what I'm most excited about, though, is the Dizzy Awards program, and that's just because that really will showcase the best and the brightest in our industry and the really creative work that they've been doing for the last few years.
Yeah, and in fact, Steph actually asked me to ask you the question about, what are the Dizzy Awards? Kind of define them and what differentiates them from any other awards program at a trade show.
Well, the whole point is to demonstrate how digital signage operates in the real world. And, in that case, there are so many different categories that we've also identified, different industries that use digital signage for different purposes. And so David Drain has done an amazing job basically curating well over 100 entries from all over the world of companies who have done just amazingly creative work with visual display technology and software that we use in digital signage. And so it's too broad for me to point out anything in particular, but I think what it shows is just the vast versatility and utility of what visual communications can be applied to.
Well, I know it's going to be a busy show. Someone emailed me today, and of course, since I'm old, I took that email and I printed it out because that's what old people do. That's my schedule of what I have to do there while I'm at DSE. So I know that it's going to be a busy show. We're doing a lot of live there. We're going to do live rAVe TV. We're going to do some interviews live, and I've got a lot of stuff scheduled. So we expect to be pretty busy. Give me some. I know you're doing a lot of special events, a lot of things in and around the show. Give me one of them that you're really excited about.
Well, the Digital Signage Installation Tour, which actually takes place before the show opens on Wednesday, I'm going to be leading one of the tour buses. We have 4 tour buses, so it's been really well received. A great group of industry folks that are coming to basically tour the digital signage installations in Las Vegas, some of which are really iconic. And so I'm super excited about that.
Obviously, that's this afternoon. What time is that?
You had to ask me that. It starts in the morning.
We'll post it.
Yeah, post it.
Actually, you can scan our QR code. You can see the whole schedule for DSE by scanning our QR code. Everything's in there. You can sign up for anything if you're not going, you're going to miss something kind of fun, but we're going to bring it to you live through our coverage, and you'll want to go next year. One of the things that's happened when we do this live coverage, Brad, is it's driven registration and attendance the following year. I think that you'll admit this is going to be a smaller show than what we're used to with DSE, but you have to start somewhere. You had to rebuild it from the ground up, did you not?
Absolutely. And, it was a challenge because a lot of the exhibitors, were really kind of put off a little bit by the way the previous show was ended. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, it didn't exhibit for 2 years in a row. And so you have to get people back in the habit of coming in and exhibiting. We've changed the time of year from spring to fall. So there's been, there's some headwinds that we've been facing, but I would say overall, the team at Questex, they're just so professional, Gary. They just have so many tools and systems, and they're so dialed into the way to talk to exhibitors and attendees and how to really convey the importance and the the opportunities that the show presents. And so, yeah, we're excited about the folks that are going to be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be over 100 exhibitors, coming up on 4,000 attendees probably. And so it will be a meaningful and important show for the folks who are serious about digital signage.
Well, 4,000 is not much smaller than what we've had in the past. That's actually really impressive. I'm excited about that. Well, look, I appreciate you joining me. I know you got to catch a flight. I appreciate you joining me. And, look, we're all in on DSE, making sure that this gets out to the industry worldwide. We're going to bring you live coverage, and we're also going to go shoot videos at every single booth. And we're also going to drop by the LDI show, which is co-located with DSE, and we're going to shoot videos there too. So we're going to cover the show and bring it to the rest of the market by just going to, you can check out our coverage at ravepubs.com/DSE. And I don't know if it's DSE 2022 or DSE, but just scan that QR code when it pops back up, or just go to ravepubs.com. You'll find our coverage. Trust me, we have a DSE link there. Brad, Thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate it. I already talked to you about Shure. Legrand is another one of our big sponsors. Steph, what's going on over at Legrand right now?
Yeah, so Legrand has a new 5-module training series. This is hosted by Jay DeShong, and this addresses the challenges that come with hybrid meetings, navigating audio and video challenges, becoming adaptable, and managing these solutions after integrations. So if you click on the link, when we bring up that QR code, that will show you. And this is CTS certified, so you get one CTS or D or I or whatever you need it. You get one CTS RU. So yeah, that all the modules are about overcoming the different challenges, how to put the video in video conferences. So yes, highly recommend going to check this out because, at the end of the day, this is something we're all trying to figure out right now, and this will help you do it. So we are appreciative to Legrand for that. They have really great educational resources.
And they've been a great partner of rAVe Pub since the very beginning, sponsor of rAVe TV. So I published an article saying that anything Joe Cornwell writes, you should read. And speaking of Legrand, the dude is amazing. Anytime I have a question about why something's not working in USB, I call him because he knows everything there is to know. He's like a USB god. So he wrote this article on work from home and like how to best set up your work from home experience so you get the most out of it. Even like sight lines and everything. It's a great piece. You can find it at ravepubs.com or scan that QR code. I'm serious about Joe. Joe's when he learns and studies something, he is an expert at it. And I really have enjoyed the relationship with him over the many years. And I hope that we can help bring his message out to the rest of the market. So check that out at ravepubs.com or click the QR code. And I'll let you do the next story because you were there.
Yeah. So this was pretty big news. PSNI, the Global Alliance, they have added Zoom video communications as a global preferred vendor partner. And what this does is it just kind of makes something available to their group of manufacturers, distributors, service providers, and it just kind of links manufacturers with their customers. So it's just like a very, very good networking opportunity and a good opportunity to get your product out to a new market. So it's kind of big that Zoom has become a part of this because Zoom is starting to highly recognize that they need to get in with integrators and they need to get in with these potential customers and markets. So them aligning with PSNI is quite big news. So that was very cool that I got to, be at Zoomtopia when this was announced and I got to hang out with Haley Klein and talk to her about it. So that was awesome.
In fact, it is very big news because it means even bigger than the integrators being part of PSNI. It means that Zoom has refocused on the value of an integrator because they did the Zoom rooms in the early days where they tried to do it themselves, and then they came back to integrators, and then they defocused from Zoom rooms, and now they're back saying, okay, we need integrators again. So I think this is a good sign, and it's something we always knew was going to happen. And I think it's quite honestly, it's a reaction to Teams. Rooms having huge growth in 2022. Like all of a sudden people flipping back to Teams. And it's funny because it's almost like people are like, oh, I didn't even know Teams was built into Teams. It was like they're using Teams, they're using 365 and didn't realize it was there. So I think that's really helped Microsoft. And speaking of which, one thing that we're going to do, Steph, is we're going to take my classroom at UNC and we're going to re-engineer the classroom, put AVer we're going to put AVer PTZ cameras in there that are going to do something really special. Using their PTZ cameras, they're going to communicate with rAVe's HDL, the new HDL 310 system or 410 system, I should say, that actually uses triangulation to pinpoint where the instructor is rather than using facial recognition, which is a little bit more accurate. So therefore, we're going to flip out all the cameras that we have to AVer PTZ cameras. We're going to demonstrate that. And if you have not checked out AVer's new PTZ cameras and the AI tracking feature that they have that allows you to do facial tracking, but also connectivity to microphone systems like the rAVe system, it's pretty cool. You should check it out. Scan that QR code. They are another sponsor of rAVe TV, but more importantly, they're a manufacturer of PTZ cameras, and they have a big line of products, and they're in stock. Sort of their offering to focus on the Pro AV market stuff.
Mm-hmm. And yes, and they wanted us to make sure to say that like these are all in stock, so these can all be purchased now.
That's a big deal. That's a marketing
definitely.
thing now. Brad would appreciate that because he's a marketing guy. Like,
yes,
yeah, we've never had a thing where you're marketing stock. Like,
yeah, where
like
you're saying you can get
like,
this right
who'd have
now. We've
thought?
got it. Yeah,
That's what Blockbuster used to do, right? That was
Yeah.
like Blockbuster's thing was like, if you come in the store on Tuesdays, we'll guarantee you'll
Yes.
have it in stock. And you're like, oh, okay. That was not that
Wait.
big of a deal. But now it's like, to have it in stock, I'm going there because
yes.
it got
Wait,
stock.
speaking of which, was it you who told me that there's like one Blockbuster left in the world? And
Yeah,
it's like
in Bend,
in
Oregon, actually. I'm
in
sure
Oregon.
Brad could tell us all about it because
Yes.
it's not too far away from where he lives. And in fact, they made a movie about it.
Yes,
There's
I
a
was just gonna
documentary
say
about
that,
it and everything. And it's family owned. And
that Netflix made a like comedy about the last
it's
Blockbuster.
not a comedy. It's like literally kind of well, I think they do have a movie funny about it, but there's a documentary
Yes.
about the store. But you know, those of us who are old, Steph, grew up with the clicking noise of that box opening, the smell of that, and the "please be kind" rewind message from.
Oh my gosh! No, I remember that
Blockbuster
too.
on every single box.
I remember that too. I remember wanting to watch this movie from the 1980s called The Last Unicorn. If y'all remember that, like, you know, that's a good movie back in the day. But I could never get it because it was always out of stock. And I had to wait like 9 months, 10 months before this thing came back in stock. Yeah. At the local Blockbuster in Fuquay Arena.
Do you know, you want to hear something funny, Steph?
Yeah.
Did you know there were companies that were actually selling VCR rewinding machines? Like, instead of you rewinding it in your VCR, you took the tape out and you put it in another box that rewinded it for you. That was a stupid
thing.
That was actually a thing. Companies
What kind of laziness?
Well, I think the original market was probably Blockbuster, right? They had one of these at every single store.
Probably. It's
they
probably
used
like
to charge you $2 if you didn't rewind your movie. $2. They would charge you $2 if you didn't rewind the movie, which was
Did you ever accidentally like break a VHS and there's just like tape everywhere? Yeah.
You pull the tape out accidentally, or when you're pulling it out of your recorder, and you know, I remember. I mean, this is how old I am, Steph. I mean, I've been writing long enough to remember writing an article about the blinking 12, and no one knows what that means unless you're over the age of 40. You don't know what that means, do you, Steph?
No.
Well, the blinking 12 is a phenomenon that everyone that had a VCR knows really, really well. We should bring Brad on and see if he can tell you what that is. What do you think? Should we bring Brad back on and talk about the blinking 12? I think
yes. Can Emily bring him back on?
Laughing at us over there. So let's bring him back on and let Brad tell us what the blinking. Because this is a real thing, Steph. This is a real thing.
This is a real thing.
You need to know history. You need to know history. This is a history lesson that Brad's about to give you. Brad, what is the blinking 12?
Yes, the blinking 12 is the fact that nobody knows how to set the time on their VCR. It's so complicated because you had your remote to work from and the buttons on the front, and so basically nobody did it. Or if they ever did it and the power went out, they didn't do it again. So
just blink at 12 o'clock.
Had the 12 o'clock blinking, like set the clock.
Yeah, it
like
would just blink.
People were gonna, like, set their VCR to record at a certain time, but nobody ever did that. They
like
really
the old style DVR. Like, this was TiVo before TiVo.
Oh, I didn't even know that you could set it to record at a certain time. I thought that you just had to like be there to make it do it.
You could actually preset that, and so blinking 12 was a thing that everyone knew because no one knew how to set them because you couldn't do it with your remote. You had to do it by setting you had to push like 2 buttons on the front panel, and the only way to know those 2 buttons was to actually read the user's
manual. Because you couldn't just Google it back then. No.
I mean, think about nobody reads the user's manual on an iPhone. Why are we going to read a user's manual on a VCR, right?
No, I'm like, I'll just Google it if I have a question.
Anyway, if you want to check out that document. By the way, Brad, have you ever been to that Blockbuster? That one in Bend?
I haven't been to it, but I know what you guys are talking about. And actually, Steph is right. They're making a series about it now. There's some kind of comedy series set in that Blockbuster, but I think it's like fictional. It's not like
okay. Well, I'll tell you, there is some nostalgia about Tuesdays at Blockbuster because you'd go every Tuesdays when the new movies would come out, Steph, and you'd go there and you'd wait in line because they would have like 20 copies of the hot movie, and you'd hope that you were one of the top first 20 people in there.
That's so funny. I bought a Twilight movie poster at a Blockbuster in 2008.
Is that still in your closet? Do you have it hung up in your closet?
I honestly don't know where it went. I have no idea where it went. I wish I had it though, because honestly, it would be really funny to have that now. But no, I have no idea where it is. So,
all right. Well, thanks for coming back on, Brad. Brad's back there laughing as well.
Yeah,
bringing back
thanks,
on.
Brad.
All right. Speaking of DSE, one other thing we should mention to you is we're going to have a post DSE event.
We are
next week on the 22nd, which is called Replay DSE. Steph, talk about that.
Yes, so if you are familiar with rAVe, you're probably familiar with these events. We do them after every single show that we go to, just about. And this is going to be where we will feature some of our favorite products we see, feature some of our favorite interviews. Gary and I always like to play a show floor tour. So if you are not going to have a chance to go to DSE Live, which we highly recommend you do, but just in case you can't, please join Replay DSE. You can register.
And I will be doing a show floor tour, Steph.
Yeah, I will be too. And, you can register using that QR code and we will see you there. And we'll be, showing our favorite products and talking about a few of our favorite things that we've seen. Other upcoming events, we are going to have a Creating Strong Editorial Relationships. This is going to be December 7th. This is a launch and learn. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be a deep dive into the best ways to create mutually beneficial relationships with the press, which is very interesting. I'm always on the press side of that, but if you are more on the marketing and PR side of that, this is going to be a really beneficial thing for you to join. And
this is not just for manufacturers, this is for integrators too. So if you're trying to get your stories published and you're trying to figure out how to get press right about your company, this is a great piece. It's free. It's from the rAVe agency, our PR team. We call them storytelling. We have a team of people that just do that. And it's free service to the industry. Yep. And the next week we'll follow that up with another free web, launch and learn or webinar, whatever you want to call it. Wage gap in the rAVe industry. More than compensation is next. What it's called, December 15th at 1 p.m. I think. Is Steph, are you or Megan part of this?
Megan, this is going to be really cool though, because I did get to publish a few pieces that are going to go into this launch and learn. So this is going to be an Avixa launch and learn. We're really lucky and happy to be partnering with them on this. But yeah, they published some pieces and we partnered with them so we could publish them on rAVe Pubs as well. So they have done 2 reports, one on the racial pay gap and one on the gender pay gap in rAVe. Both of these have really, really great information. They've worked really hard on gathering all of these statistics.
There's a lot of data missing, and I asked Megan to make sure she brings that up because I feel like that the report wasn't complete, even though it's a pretty good report when I read it. So I sent a little message to Megan, hey, make sure you ask these questions because I'm curious why some of this data is not there. But we're a company full of women. I have 2 daughters. It's an issue that I would love to see solved as quickly as possible. And then finally, and December 20th, we're not going to let you go for the holidays until you've until you've attended NSCA's Labor Installation Standards NU Launch and Learn. This is a big deal because what's happening is this will take a deep dive into the standards and have a conversation about how this is affecting integrators in different areas like cost cutting, budgeting, and choosing projects where you can actually make money. Right. Because a lot of time, we choose projects and then the price of the product goes up between the time you spec it. Like we'd never had to deal with it this much of inflation where you spec the LED in March and you're delivering it in November and the LED costs 40% more. It always would go up 2 or 3%, or most of the time our products costs would go down actually in our industry. But in the last couple of years, they've gone up, and there's time where you have to kind of walk away from a job, or you need to talk to your clients and say, hey, we need to take a look at this because we can't afford to do this installation. They're going to tell you how to handle those kinds of situations and also how to deal with this labor shortage that we're having, Steph. A lot of people not willing to do installs anymore.
Exactly. So highly recommend checking all of those out. You can go to register using that QR code you see there in the bottom corner. And Gary, I believe that is our show. You and I both have planes to catch because DSE starts tomorrow, bright and early.
We're coming to you live. We're going to come to you live on Thursday and Friday as well. So don't forget to join us from the DSE show floor. And, if you miss it, just go to my LinkedIn or go to YouTube or go to wherever you want to go. You'll find it. we'll be coming to you live from the show floor, and we're going to be doing a bunch of interviews. So I'm excited to be back in Vegas at a show. So Steph,
me too. All right, that's our show of rAVe TV. Yeah, don't forget to join rAVe TV, our special show editions tomorrow and Friday. And as always, you'll see us again next Wednesday. So thanks, Gary.
All right, bye, Steph.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.